What's up? Good afternoon. We're here at the Orlando Sentinel newsroom to answer some Orlando City questions. Obviously, the team is opening the season on Sunday. I'm Paul Tenorio. This is Alicia DelGallo. If you don't know, I am the Orlando City beat reporter for another 24 hours at most, probably more like the next 5 hours. Alicia DelGallo here is going to be taking over for you. And in fact, I think that's where we're going to start off this Twitter Q&A. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into it so that, there we go, there's the question. Who's going to be taking your Orlando City beat? Do you know yet? I do know. I do. She's right here. This is Alicia DelGallo. We're calling it the interim beat reporter. I think she's going to do such a great job, and maybe it becomes a full-time. I'm not in charge of hiring. I'm not in charge of hiring.
That's nice.
But I hope that you guys give her the support to step in and do the job. She's gonna work really hard at it, and that's the most important thing. So, in good hands.
And I've been your backup for about a year.
That's right. She stepped in for me when I got married and went on my honeymoon last season. And I'll remind you, at the time, Orlando City was in a losing streak, and then they went and started to win, and that was the start of the 5-game win streak.
So if I stayed on.
Maybe she's the good luck charm. There it is. All right, let's get to some more serious questions. And see where we're going to start off. All right, prediction for the first game. Garrett Weiss, always tweeting at me. I know you very well from Twitter. Here we go. Prediction for the first game and the attendance. We'll start there. Alicia, what you got?
Attendance. They've been saying a lot that they are very close to selling out again. # fill the bowl again. So attendance, expect it to be more than 62,000 people at the game. My thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a sellout again. Obviously, they went over 50,000 earlier this week. It might have been last week even that they went over 50,000. I think that they're going to hit their number, and it's going to be quite the atmosphere again for a second year in a row. Very impressive to fill the bowl. As for the expectations for the game, it's going to be an interesting game. Look, I was a little pessimistic about Real Salt Lake. I saw them play in the CONCACAF Champions League. I feel a lot better about what this team has. I think they look very dangerous going forward. Obviously, they've got some really nice pieces. Movsesian up top looked great. They gave Tigres everything they had. So, with Morales and Plata and Movsesian, this is a pretty good team. I don't know what the prediction is. I'm going to go ahead and say 2-1 Orlando City. I think it's going to be a tough game. The crowd puts them over the top. Obviously, Real Salt Lake, they have the advantage of playing earlier, but then they're also tired from playing earlier. There's a little bit of that, a lot of travel.
That's also pending. There have been some reports out that 3 of their players got sick, had a bug or a flu. They should be okay for the game on Sunday, but that would be helpful for Orlando City if that were true.
Cool. Can we peg it back to that question? I think there was a second part of that question, unless we've got another one lined up, but I think there's a second part to that question. We'll go ahead and try to answer that one. Here it is. Do they get into the playoffs, and do they do anything? Well, I have them in the playoffs as a 6th seed. They were 7th place in the East last year. I think they do enough to get up into that 6th spot, so I have them in the playoffs. And once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. I'm not going to make playoff predictions because I'll just be happy if I get playoff predictions right. So we'll start there.
I'm not even going to start a playoff prediction. I think that's a bad way to start my run.
Yes, that's my good advice for her. City. Do not make predictions about your beat. It always comes back to bite you because the players find out what you say and the coach finds out what you say.
I want to start off on a good note.
That's smart.
With them.
See, she's already smarter than I was. All right, what we got next? When will Torino be ready to start? We'll start with that part. We'll get to the second part next.
Yeah, so Torino is coming into town today. He will go through physicals tomorrow, but he said earlier this week it is highly unlikely that he will play on Sunday, given the short amount of time he will have to be ready and here. He has been training in Italy, though, and there is another game in 5 days, so why rush it?
That's right. You got another game Friday against Chicago Fire, so no reason to sneak him into the lineup. Second part of that question, what we got? I think there's 2 parts. I'll just answer both of them right away. Is Colin being sold, traded? Not right now. The guys on the bench, I know a lot of people are curious about what's going on there. I think it's just a matter of a coach's decision. And, Aurelian Collin is a veteran. He's a 3-time MLS All-Star. It's definitely different to see him on the bench. But, they're going to need all 4 of those center backs if anything showed last season. Now we've already seen Mateos get hurt. I think Tommy Redding has a chance to start over Hines. I think that over Colin for Mateos' spot, and I think he's a good fit. And you know what? At the end of the day, Orlando City needs to figure out what they have in Tommy Redding, and they need to figure it out this year. They can't wait around any longer. This is his third pro season. There's going to be some money coming up at the end of the year. If Tommy Redding is the answer at center back, how they move forward with that money changes. If Tommy Redding is not the answer at center back, then they might have to go and address that position next year. So if you want to find out what you've got in Tommy Redding, you got to find out this year, and might as well start with the opener. So, whether people are disappointed about Colin not playing or not, I think that you have to look at playing Tommy Redding as just as important, if not more important, for both the short term and the long term for Orlando City. And then the second half of that last part of the question, I think, was about, do you remember what we got on that question? What was it?
Will they do? Oh, no, that wasn't that one. Can you pull that up again?
Here we go. Any interest? Oh, bringing in Hercules Gomez. He was waived by Toronto FC, the U.S. national team forward. No, from everything I'm hearing via sources, there is no interest right now, at least, in bringing Hercules Gomez to Orlando.
Didn't you start that rumor?
I didn't start the rumor.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I said it would make sense.
I'm pretty sure everyone started freaking out after
I said it would
that.
make sense. They wanted a veteran striker. A veteran striker is available. Here's the issue. Hercules Gomez is not just a veteran striker. He's a veteran striker who's probably going to want a lot of money. Orlando City, I don't think they have a lot of money left right now. They've used a lot of it in trades. They brought in a Torino. So I think it would be tough to fit Herc Gomez in unless he was willing to take a big pay cut. And so I don't, from what I'm hearing, I don't see that happening. And if it's my fault that the rumor's out there, I'll take responsibility. It's like my goodbye present to the Orlando City fans. But I'll go ahead and crush those dreams. What we got next?
Next question.
Breakout player for the team, Alicia. What
breakout player. My breakout player is Kevin Molino. Everybody in Orlando knows Kevin Molino. They know what he did, but he was injured. He tore his ACL in May last year. So nationally, on the national stage, not many people know the two-time USL MVP Molino. So I think breakout national stage Molino this year. He's healthy. He's fit. He's been looking great in practices. Did you have anyone else?
No, I mean, I agree with you. I think Kevin, as far as the national stage, Kevin Molino is set for a big breakout year. I think if we're going to talk about it in a bigger picture, Christian Higuita, very well known for sure, probably one of the most underrated players in Major League Soccer. I think if he continues to play to his potential, and if Colombia makes the Olympics, beats the U.S. in March to get into the Olympics, I think Higuita could have a massive breakout year, and I think you could be seeing him play in Italy next year if he continues to progress, because I think Orlando City will get some very healthy offers for Christian Higuita from overseas if he plays well here and if he plays well at the Olympics and they get in. What was the second half of that question? I think we had another one. I'm like Adam Schefter here, looking at my phone. I'm in my Sports Center moment here.
That question.
I am crushing some hopes here.
What is OCB's impact in the first season?
It's a big one. Last year, I think the biggest disappointment outside of not making the playoffs was the lack of minutes they got for the young guys. We talked about one of them, Tommy Redding. Harrison Heath is another guy who didn't get enough minutes. Connor Donovan, obviously his injury played a role, but he's another guy who didn't get minutes. Earl Edwards, for that matter, didn't get minutes. Brian Roach has. I mean, you can go on and on. This is a team that's very, very young, and because of the lack of depth and they had to kind of keep him around, they could not send them to Louisville. Now, if you don't play on one day, you can be sent down straight over to Melbourne. It's not a bad drive. I did it a bunch this preseason. It's pretty straightforward. You just get on the toll road. You put on some good music. No big deal.
The beach line.
That's right. And then you're right there. So it's a big deal. It's very, very important to get these players minutes in their development because all of them, they're considered young, but at 18, 19, 20 in the world of soccer, those are very important years. You start to figure out what's up with these players. By age 20, 21, 22, you hit 22 in the world of soccer, you're getting old. So it's going to be a big deal for Orlando City to play those young guys. All right, what we got next?
Next one. Anything on roster compliance for international slots? We haven't been able to confirm anything yet, but we have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen, right, Paul?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, it's no surprise. It's kind of what we heard and expected earlier this preseason. I believe at least the plan and what I was told was done. I guess the best way to put it, what the plan was to put Brian Rochez and Devon Garcia down with Orlando City B on loan for the time being. There's two reasons for that. The biggest being it opens up 2 international spots, But both of those guys missed the preseason with injuries. Devin Garcia hurt his ankle, and then he got a concussion when he finally got back. Brian Rochez has been out for all of preseason with a thigh issue. So you send those guys down there, and yes, you open up your international spots, but more importantly, you get those guys minutes and you get those guys in shape. They need more time to get some preseason work in, to get some preseason games in. So I believe that's what we're going to see once they officially announce it. It hasn't been confirmed by the team yet. Maybe they'll shoot me a text if they're watching. Someone will confirm it. But that's what I'm expecting. And I think it makes a lot of sense. Brian Rochez, he's a great example of someone who needs games. And if you can send him to OCB and say, look, we're going to keep you down there. Let's get 6 games of 90 minutes before we bring you back up. I think that's huge for his development. So I think a good move overall for Orlando City.
All right, next one. Pull it up. Any news on statewide deal for 2016, or do I have to buy the MLS package? Ryan, I would say go ahead and buy the MLS Live subscription or Direct Kick if you are not in the Orlando area, because we have not heard anything yet about a statewide deal. Right?
Yeah. No, yeah. Hey, look, and if you get MLS Live, you can watch me in Chicago. So it's a double bonus.
Really?
It's a double bonus. That's what. Look, you're enjoying watching me now. You can watch me in Chicago.
Look at the
MLS
crest
Live.
behind you. You can't talk about.
I can talk about it. Hey,
their
look,
second
there's value
opponent of the
there.
season
Not
right
just
now.
watching me, but you get a chance to watch all of MLS with MLS Live. I actually it was huge for me on the job last year to do some research on who was coming in to play Orlando City. I saw every single game. I could go back and watch games during the week. So if I wanted to get an idea of the opponent coming up, do a little scouting report.
So
That's how I was able to
need
do it.
Spend money on MLS
And
Live
hey,
right now.
if you're not in Orlando, you're not getting it on TV anyways. Yes, you should definitely go ahead and subscribe. And I figured out how to make it work on Chromecast during the year, which was crucial for me because I was tired of watching it on my computer screen.
Yeah.
So anyways, no statewide deal. What we got next?
Is there another one? Okay, a two-part question. Is it playoffs or bust for City this year? And two, would Heath be on the hot seat if they miss out? I'm just going to give my take real quick.
Yeah.
'Cause you're
We're
more-
gonna end on this one, so let's make it a
Okay.
good closing argument.
Yours is going to probably be better. But it depends on what you mean by bust, in my opinion. Are the players, is that their mindset? Playoffs or bust? Yes, they would definitely be disappointed with anything but a trip to the playoffs. Would the club actually go bust if they don't make the playoffs? Probably not. And would Heath be on the hot seat? I think there was discussion of that when they didn't make the playoffs last year, so I would have to say probably.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go ahead and end on this because I think it's a big question around this season. In fact, you're going to be able to read about it on Sunday in the paper. One of the many stories that you can get if you buy the Orlando Sentinel on Sunday. Special section, big story on Kaká. We'll have a couple big stories on the team's off season and everything. We got a big story on this exact topic. Look, there you go. Look at that. Awesome cover shot. Sean Pitts is over here running the production on this live
Really
Twitter
cool.
Q&A. Also hooked up this awesome 360 camera shot for the cover. And you can read my Kaká profile right now. It's the first thing that we pushed out for the special section on OrlandoSentinel.com.
And
the rest will be out on the weekend,
online.
Saturday, Sunday.
We'll miss that little circle, face in the circle.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so. I hate that picture. Okay, so let's get back to the question. Look, I think that it's absolutely playoffs or bust. This is kind of the mentality that Orlando City has had from day one. Last year, there were guys still getting to know each other's names, and it was still the expectation is playoffs. So you're going into year two. You've had another year to build. You've been able to tweak some things. You've been able to fill up some areas where there are depth issues. And so absolutely, I think playoffs are the goal and the expectation. And I think it will be a huge disappointment within the club and certainly around the club by the fans if they don't make it to the playoffs this year. Now, that being said, when it comes to Heath's job, I think it depends on who you talk to. Obviously, the official word out of the club is that, Adrian Heath has this year and next year left on his contract. And that's what, he's fine, he's great, he's in a good spot. I think if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, absolutely. I think absolutely he's on the hot seat. Whether that means he gets fired or not, I don't know. But, this is a club with very high expectations. And part of the project of taking an expansion team and making it into something that lasts within a market and lasts as a brand is to win. And Adrian Heath talks about this all the time. He says, my job is to get the team to speed up and reach the level of success we've had everywhere else in marketing, in the city, with the magnets and the fans and everything else. we've got to get the team to that point too. So Adrian Heath is not taking any pressure off of himself. He expects to be in the playoffs. And so I think that's the biggest storyline to watch all season long for Orlando City. I will be watching from afar. She will be watching from up close. You can always get your content here at OrlandoSentinel.com. That's where I'm going to be getting my Orlando City content.
And
I hope
texting me nonstop.
I might be texting her that she is not doing as good a job as I did, because I got to talk some trash, of course. But we'll go ahead and end it on that one. Thanks, everyone, for following along and reading during my time on the beat. I hope you do the same at OS Alicia D. Give her a follow at OS Lions, because starting tomorrow, I'm not going to be tweeting just about Orlando City. I'll be tweeting about all of MLS. I'm not saying unfollow me. I'm just saying make sure you follow her.
Definitely unfollow him.
So thanks again, and best of luck, Alicia, going forward this season.
Bye, guys.